This week I want to talk to you about the private investigator personality pendulum. Hi, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com and the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, which is premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. Obviously, a pendulum swings from one extreme to another. Human personalities tend to do this as well. And here's something I want you to watch out for. Now, most people in the world related to our industry don't have a clue as to what's going on. They have no idea how frequently they're being tracked or followed, either electronically by their phone, by perhaps an app that's on their phone. They don't understand that they can even be followed in the real world. They just are kind of living their lives. They have their own concerns. Maybe they had a fight with someone at work, or they've got to make a presentation at a big meeting. They're very tied up in these things. Our little world, the things that we deal with, aren't even a blip on their radar. They don't even know they exist. At the other extreme of the pendulum is where we live, the place that we work, the things that we know, that everything is being tracked, everything is being recorded, everything can be referenced back to later. And it's somewhat infuriating, it's somewhat maddening. You know that there are apps out there, free apps to download, to play games, or maybe to help schedule and manage your time better, or things like that. But we all know there's no such thing as a free lunch. Those apps are doing things. They've asked your permission, maybe in very fine print and in very obscure language, to track, to follow, to access your life. And so you know that some of those free apps will turn on the microphone on your telephone and constantly be listening. And one thing that they're listening for is the TV that's playing in the background. What shows are you watching? They want to track that so they can target ads to you more. You know that these apps exist. You know that your phone mic may be listening to you at any given moment. And you're concerned about that. And you take sometimes dramatic steps to avoid being listened in on. And while I think it's very important that we do take reasonable steps to ensure our privacy, the privacy of our families, there is that extreme. We do not need to be taping aluminum foil up on the windows of our house. We do not need to be building a Faraday room where no electronic signals can get in or out. These extreme type things, and I see this type of thing online, especially if you ever read into the comments of things. Even a reasonable article, a reasonable video, a reasonable blog post, you start to look at the comments and people lose their minds with the what if scenarios. So you probably in particular have no real reason to have a bulletproof house. You probably don't have a real threat of people discharging rounds into your residence. Some people are concerned about this, and maybe they do have an elevated risk. And so they're exploring online ways to mitigate this risk. And you'll get somewhat reasonable things, like maybe you want to put bookshelves along the front wall of your house, so anybody driving by, at least the rounds have to get through bookshelves. If you're going to be concerned about this type of thing, that's probably a reasonable, inexpensive, non-obtrusive way to kind of mitigate that problem if it exists in your life. Go down to the comments for something like that, and you'll find people who will explain that sustained repeated gunfire will not be stopped, how different rounds at different velocities can still penetrate that, and that you need this kind of steel or that kind of steel. I recall one guy making a comment about how you could take manhole covers and cover your walls with those, and then someone else came back and said, well, no, there will still be gaps where the circles don't touch. Can you see what I'm talking about, where the pendulum has swung way too far in one direction there? So here's the thing, with your personality, with the life you live, you need to find that happy middle ground based on the real legitimate risk that you face, that your family faces. You probably don't want to walk around blind to the fact that these things go on, and you probably don't want to walk around consumed that at any moment the world may end. Find that reasonable middle ground. This is important because it's going to make you a more reasonable person, a more happy person, a more balanced person, and this will translate into all areas of your life, physical, spiritual, business. Finding a balance, finding what's reasonable, is really going to make you a happier individual and be better for you as a private investigator. This is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.